Welcome back everybody to the Effective Interview Skills Training session. So as you all know, the company's been experiencing high turnover in the last 18 months, and the HR department's rolled out a series of interview training. Now this session will be part 2, and we'll go through some behavioural skills training. So before we start, I'm just going to give you guys all a handout. Oh, thank you. I guess you'll have to pass that down. Perfect, thank you. And that will basically help you to follow through with the PowerPoint presentation today, and something you can also refer to after today's training. Alright, so our objectives for the next hour are to applying behavioural interview STAR STAR technique, analysing body language specific to conducting an interview. We're going to go through some strategic interview questioning series as well, specific obviously to interviews, and applying what works in interviews. So today we'll have a lot of talk about what it is that you guys are currently doing in your departments, and it'll be a great opportunity as well for you to learn from each other. There might be some skills that work well for some departments and not for others, but it'll be good to hear it out anyway. Okay, so going through an interview can be quite daunting. Spending 20 minutes to an hour with a candidate is not always going to be enough to see whether they're the right person for you, your department in the long term. So going through an interview, you want to maximise your time as much as possible, and this is where behavioural interviewing will come in quite handy. It'll give you an opportunity to really get the candidates to bring out their behaviours through different situations, specifically relative to your departments as well. So before we go through the actual techniques, I'd like you all to have a think about these questions. Now I'm not expecting you all to answer each one individually, but just to get you thinking about what your current styles are sitting like at the moment. So do you follow a list of questions when you do an interview? Do you keep your interviews casual? Do you go by gut feeling? Are you always asking the same questions? When do you defer away from a script if that's what you use? And how do you get the most out of your interviews? Are you conscious about your interviewee's body language during the interview? Would you prefer more of a formal interview when you're conducting one? And do you interview the same way for all positions? So just a bit of food for thought anyway, that you're thinking about how you normally go through your interview. So what I'd like to do now is just go around the room and ask each one of you what your normal styles would be like. So we'll start with you, Jen, you're the customer service manager here.
Yeah. So I would generally ask them to tell me about themselves and delve into their work experience. Personality is important. Very important customer service. So I usually look for the way they conduct themselves, like their enthusiasm and handshake. So it can all be very good indicators of their character.
Perfect, that's great, excellent. Yvonne, you're the finance manager here. Tell us about your interview style.
Yeah, look, my interview style is really formal. I guess I really focus on the qualifications for the senior roles that I recruit for. It's really important to have those. I generally go through the CV and get them to explain their past roles and accounting knowledge to me and gauge their suitability by experience, but also by the gut feeling as well.
Okay, excellent. What about yourself, Michael? You're the sales manager here.
Yeah, I just usually start off with a general chit chat just to make the guys feel relaxed, and then basically from that I'll look over their CV and really go into it, and then genuinely ask why you think you're suited for the job.
Sounds good, fantastic. About yourself, Christy, you're the IT manager here.
Yeah, I really focus on their existing operational skills. The roles I recruit for are very technical, so know-how and their experience is obviously key. The interviews I conduct tend to be more on the casual side unless the role is at a senior level.
Sounds great. And what about yourself, Darren? You're the warehouse manager here.
That's right, yeah. I suppose in our area, being a very fast-paced organisation, we need the people, and so we need them in quick, and then with that we try and get through the interviews fairly quick and get straight to the point, make them brief, and with that, we'd probably just go through and check all their tickets, and with that, just their backgrounds, and just casually just go through everything and see if they're suited for the positions. Yeah.
Excellent, that's great. Thank you guys all for sharing your experiences so far. So You clearly have some great skills that you're utilising at the moment with your interview styles. Today is really about just taking it that next step, basically, where we get the candidates to really describe the situations they've been in the past and really come out with what kind of behaviours they would react in different circumstances. So the best indicator for us of what a candidate's future behaviour is going to be like is their past behaviour. And that's why the more specific their situations that they'll describe are, the easier it will be for you to gauge whether they're the right match for your department. So we'll go through the STAR technique. So STAR is a nice and short acronym, nice and easy to remember. So to break it down, S is for situation, T for task, A for action, and R for results. So essentially what you want is a candidate to describe a detailed step-by-step situation of, you know, what they're about to describe to you, what was the task that was required to do, what were the actions that they actually took, and what was the measurable result at the end of that. Now, it's important not to provide the candidates with actual situations. You want them to really, number one, listen to your questions. Number two, bring out real experiences. You don't want them to be fictional. And if one doesn't suit, you can always ask another that's going to be a little bit more relevant to their experience. Once again, that you can draw on, that's going to be relevant to your departments. So some of the examples of behavioural interview skills and STAR particularly would be, tell me about a time or an example throughout your career where you had to resolve a customer complaint, for example. That would be perfect for your area, Jen. Yeah. Excuse me. Also, tell me a time where you had to troubleshoot a network or maintenance issue, for example. That would be probably more suited to yourself, Christy. Or, you know, give me an example of a situation where you had to deal with a difficult situation. And tell me a time where you had to help out a team member. You know, what did you do? If you find that people are, you know, telling you about a situation, but once again, they're not really drawing on that experience and behaviour, this is where you can break it down even further for them and actually ask them, what exactly was the situation you experienced? What were you required to do? What did you actually do? And what was the result at the end of the day? And I mean, if you know, you're not getting the answers that you want at the end, then I don't know what more you can ask there. But at least it really breaks it down for your candidates. Okay, so you'll find as well that most behavioural questions tend to revolve around these points. So it'll be generally around problem-solving skills, teamwork, technical skills, particularly in accounting and IT, as you both mentioned earlier, leadership skills, dealing with difficult situations, time management, people skills, and decision making are generally the ones that we'll hear most about. So does anybody have any questions before we move on to the next part about the STAR technique?
No, that was really helpful, thank you.
Yep, great, excellent. So now what we'll do is we'll actually watch a video that'll give you some examples of live behavioural interviews.